Alrighty, twin flame brothers and sisters, peace be upon you. Welcome back. I know you have been expecting new video for a while. However, I had amazing experiences that I needed to process first to share them with you, because I don't like to talk about stuff that I don't know what they are yet. Once they're processed and there's conclusion drawn and we know we clear what it meant and what was the purpose of the experience, then we can talk about it. And the reason why I do these videos is to share with you my experiences in order that you can compare the notes. As one of my beautiful brothers from Medina Al Munawwara said once, let's compare the notes. So we're comparing the notes, and by comparing the notes, it's going to help you to know that you're not alone, that you're not crazy, that things are happening for a reason, and that we are all in this together. And although we may be at different stages on our journeys, because, just like when you're traveling, someone has reached this point and the other person has reached that far, but our destinations are same. We are traveling towards our reunion with our twin flames, with ourselves, basically. So without further ado, I just want to say happy, blessed Ramadan to all Muslim brothers and sisters twin flames out there. I have not myself quite tuned into Ramadan yet. Physically, I'm not able to fast right now yet. So I just I feel like slowly adjusting to the fact that Ramadan has already started. And I just want to say, I wish that it's made easy for you, the fasting and purifying and fortifying of your will, because for me, fasting during the Ramadan is mostly about, I know people will say different things, and yes, it is a multi-dimensional type of benefit coming from the fasting, but for me, it's just like the Quran says, to help you with strengthening your will, to make your patience being trained better, and just to learn to wait for things. Because basically fasting during one day, specifically in Islam, because we just completely refrain from water and from drinking and eating anything, is not going to kill you. It's physically not impossible. It's physically not even, there's nothing super hard about it. Well, of course, some people in the beginning, when they start to learn how to fast and they have absolutely zero experience and haven't done it before, of course, it takes time to learn the process and how to do it properly. And it may be hard for just first, like, let's say first year you try this, first time in your life, everything is hard first time you drive a bike, you're gonna fall. But basically it's not something like when you fast during one single day, which is what we do day by day in Ramadan for a whole month. But when you fast one single day and then you break your fast at the dusk, basically, it's not something physically super impossible or super hard. It's just basically certain period of time. Let's say 9 hours, 10 hours of not eating and drinking. It's not super hard. It's just there is a certain time you have to wait for, and this is very much like our twin flame journey. It's not like you're never gonna reach your reunion. It's just that you have to know that it's there, it's waiting for you. It's a must. It's just you have to wait until the time is divine, the divine timing. Same goes with fasting. We just okay, here's the easier way to explain that. Like, people, when they fast, they become nervous during certain parts of day, and then they just like they have a little crisis, and then they get over it. They just start doing something, or they go to pray, and they get busy with other things, and then when the time comes to actually break the fast, to eat and drink, then it's just those last few minutes. It's just like when you know you're gonna eat, and you're preparing your food, putting on the table, getting your drinks ready, then you know you're gonna eat and drink. Then it's not even that hard anymore. And then then you relax into it, and some people, I've heard funny people who say, "Hey, what if I continue now?" And I've seen people actually get busy with preparing food for friends or guests or something, and they will be like, it's time to eat, and they like so busy. And we actually warn each other, Muslims, and like brothers and sisters. We will say, hey, don't prolong your fast, because doing it for the sake of God, and doing it for as something beneficial for yourself, but from God's, uh, you know God advises you to do that. But then, so it's, say you say it's for the sake of God. It's for your own sake, but uh, you have to only do it exactly like when, from this time to this time, but you should not prolong any longer than that, because then it's just like, it's just stupid. So we don't like to we like to advise each other to stop when it's time to eat, not to make it any longer. But it happens a lot of times that people will just like kind of like forget, or just get busy, and they will be like, yeah, I'm gonna eat. Okay, hold on, just let me just put this on the table and finish serving, then yeah, I'm gonna eat then. Or let me go take a shower, then I'm gonna sit down and eat. Because people know then that now it's inevitable, they're gonna eat now, so they don't stress about it anymore. But before that point comes, before they actually can eat and drink, everybody's so nervous, and it's like, when it's gonna. So same is our twin flame journey. We get so nervous and anxious, and we go like, when is this reunion gonna happen? Of course. But when you know it's gonna happen, then you can just relax into it. Like it's coming. Just so fasting actually helps. It helps me on a twin flame journey to know that um, that it's just during the day that I'm not eating, and then beautifully at the dusk time, people gather, or we go to the mosque, or people are invited to the house, or a restaurant, and then that beautiful breaking on the fast of the fast comes. That's where the word breakfast comes in English, because break fast, breakfast. That's where the word comes from. Like stop not eating and start eating. Anyways, I've been talking about this to compare the patience that is required by someone who is fasting all day. And what makes it easier is this knowing, when you come into knowing that you will eventually eat and drink. You do have it. It's not just like you're hungry, like someone who doesn't have any food. So you're fortunate. So this way you are strengthening your willpower, strengthening your patience, training your patience, learning to be patient, that things will come. It's just in a few hours, and then you will eat. So same with your twin flame journey. It's just in 2 months, or in 2 weeks, 2 years. It in this case, we know, we are a little bit. It's hard when we don't know. It would maybe be easier for twin flames if we knew exactly when this is gonna happen. But guess what? When you're fasting in Islam, because we follow natural way the universe and nature works. So basically, day changes every single day in Islam is different, from the times we pray to the times we start fasting or break fasting, because we move our schedule according to the way the day moves. Like every day in a year has different length, and dusk and the dawn don't come at the same time every single day. uh, in this year it changes, so we always change that according to the actual nature of things. So in Islam, we don't always break the fast at the same time. Sometimes you have to fast for 9 hours and 2 minutes. Sometimes you're gonna fast for 8 hours and 30 minutes. But you will eventually get there. So some people wait for their twin for 8 years, some wait for 8 months, some wait for 18 years, but it eventually happens. Okay, so happy Ramadan, everyone. For those who are fasting, may Allah make it easy for you, and enjoy time with your family, friends, and try to go to mosque at night to listen to the Quran and pray. I know a lot of people are working, going to school and all that, but try to take a few days off. Like if you have any vacation time saved or anything, try to do it like this. It doesn't always have to be vacation time for actual vacation or travel or something. Just take a vacation, take a spiritual vacation. Ramadan is a perfect time to do that, and then God will make it easier for you. That then He will send you the benefit of spiritual growth, and then you can, and He will also give you abundance in other ways, and perhaps give you a second vacation, time off from your work or something. Just trust God and don't worry too much. Enjoy your Ramadan. Now, what I wanted to talk about in this video is what happened to last 2 weeks or so. Well, between many things that happen in my daily life and the 4 and 5D in dream state. There was one major purging that I want to specifically talk about, so that you guys can compare your notes, and if this happens to you, so that you know that it's perfectly normal, that they're just before you're approaching the last curb before your reunion, you have to go through this major purging that you thought you didn't need anymore, that you thought you didn't need anymore. Okay, so let's compare the notes. Let's say, for example, I had that major lesson learned with the manifested twin, if you follow my videos, and I thought that was it. I have felt amazing peace, and I have caught myself for the first time in my life laughing with myself, by myself. I'm not kind of a person that likes to be by herself. I'm not comfortable being alone. I'm not one of those super social people that always have to be surrounded by millions of friends and stuff, but I always have to have someone to share my experience with. If I'm watching a movie, I don't like watching it alone. If I'm um eating, I want to eat in the company of others. I like sharing life with other people and experiences. It doesn't have to be hundreds of people, it doesn't have to be a party, but just one or two people would be great. Even a dog or a cat would be, you know, sufficient. But I'm not this hermit type of person, you know. So I caught myself lately being super happy just being alone. I'm falling in love with myself. I think that's great. And that happened after the major lesson learned with the manifested twin and all that. And it just gradually happened and normally happened after that I started, for first time in my life, loving to be in my own company, just spending time by myself, with myself, and just like if I'm watching something on my phone or on DVD or whatever, I am just like sharing it by myself with myself, and this is very new for me. This was very new. So, and I have felt amazing peace for this past month. For example, not needing company, not seeking company of other people. And that's great because I feel it's very important just before the reunion to be whole, just feel whole by yourself. It's just, I can't even describe how amazing this feeling is. It's just like hanging out with myself. Spending more time with myself and actually enjoying it. And I have had actually, not that I blocked some people on social media, it's just, and not that I'm avoiding them, I've actually told them that I need to be, I feel to be alone. But by the way, the screen just popped up. You see the photo on the screen. I have to just interrupt myself for a minute here and explain to you. This was brought by my cat. If you watched a long time ago one of my videos, one time my cat brought something else very amazing too. So yeah, this is the same cat. He brought this under my table. It mysteriously appeared under my table 2 days ago, and it's some kind of a spinning toy, whatever. But to me, it's super. It's just amazing how much it reminds me of Merkaba, of the shape of Merkaba. If you think about it, it has one, two, three, four uh, sides, and it's just amazing, amazing. The color of it and everything is just amazingly symbolic of Merkaba. And I've told you in few videos before that I have seen my organic twin in 5D in the form of Merkaba. So I urge you to find out, although there's not much of good solid information about Merkaba out there on online, but there's good books. There's books, good reading materials you can find on Merkaba, and I hope that the universe sends you a good teacher or a good source of information about Merkaba. You can do more research by yourself, because it's time to, after your if you have worked on your chakras and your chakras are realigned and ready and balanced, it's time then for your own light body to take Merkaba form. It's kind of like, okay, if you compare Merkaba to a vehicle for your soul that helps your soul travel through different dimensions, then sort of like your chakras are if you went through alignment and you worked on alignment of your chakras, that sort of like doing alignment on your cars, like fixing all the oil in your car and checking all the like oil in your car and putting your um, wheels, like your tires being aligned, and when everything is aligned your vehicle is ready. So that's the way I'm trying to compare. When you align your chakras, then your Merkaba is ready. So I think it's amazing that I ran into this I mean that my cat brought this under my table. And I was actually, my mom was like, she looked at it, she was like, what is this? And I said, oh my god, it looks just like little charms that people wear that are you can buy online. But I wouldn't do that. I wouldn't buy one. There's no need, because it's just a symbolic presentation of something. I think it's really important that you realize that each of you have Merkaba, and that you actually share it with your twin. Because for what's interesting is that one pair of twins only have one Merkaba. We share one. This is really important discovery to realize that it's kind of like a husband and wife having one car. It belongs to both of you. You go to work, and then let's say you work different shifts. Your husband comes from work, then you go shopping, or you go to your workplace with the same car. It's your car, but it's also your husband's car. This is how Merkaba works. It's amazing that the pair of twins only have one Merkaba, but they can use it at different times, like individually, just by themselves, before the reunion, I mean. Okay, so let's continue now. Where was I? So I've been telling you about this newly found peace that came after all the turbulence, and I finally have lost interest into um, it wasn't just interest in the previous experiences. I had to try to go with the manifested twin and the first person who was channeling my twin, the sacral chakra guy. I had to go through those experiences for the sake of my reunion. But now, after a manifested twin episode, I felt now I feel absolutely no need to have any kind of relationship um, prior to my reunion with anyone uh, anymore but my twin, but my organic twin. And this is just a 3D fact that in the past 3 weeks, I've refused three relationship offers and one marriage proposal. I simply and social proposals. So I just feel I want to be alone, and I'm good at it, and I feel happy with it. So I was super surprised one night when I was shook up and awakened with a fear that was related to my organic twin, and I had to Google him actually, and my fears were dissolved, thank God. But that surprised me, like, where did that come from? And I felt that it was really important uh, to clear, to purge that. It was like a small purge that, but it wasn't small because it was related to my twin. It was a lot of fear involved, and I was like, where did this come from? Now I thought I was fine, you know. And then how I know the major purging was going on was the next night. Just like the night after that, I had another thing wake me up, and this was related to my first love, to my first ever love. My first ever relationship was a way long time ago, and I was awakened by so much sadness, and I was talking to myself, and I was like, how is this even possible? Where is this coming from? I was awakened with the same pain that I felt when I was 16-year-old, when I broke up with my first love, when we broke up. And I couldn't believe that this was not purged yet, because it was, and that chapter was closed. And I just thought there was no more need to go there. But here's why I had to. The divine knows everything. So here's what happened. But to make you understand what happened, you have to know a little bit of timeline of my journey. So I'll just quickly try to go through that. In 2000 and oh, actually, I'm sorry. In 1993, I was 16-year-old, and I met that young boy who was 15 at the time. It was in the middle of the war, and you can see the photo of my hometown, beautiful hometown in Europe. And at that time, even this waterfall was completely destroyed. The water was turned off by the enemy army, and the waterfall area started to dry up, and it was completely dead. So this waterfall has been resurrected. It connects two beautiful rivers. For me, it represents the merging of the twin flames, because this waterfall is like not one river, but you usually have with waterfalls, but it's the bottom is one river, and the top of is the other river. This is where the river ends. It's the delta of the river is also waterfall. So one river ends, and the other one is passing by at the bottom of the first one, and that's where the first one ends and the second one begins. So it's amazing spiritual symbolism of merging of twin flames. And this is where I was born. So at the time in 1993, it was war in my country, and I fell in love for the first time. But this was not a usual teenage love story. This was a very, very deep spiritual connection between two young people. And I always knew I was an old soul. I always had a feeling that I lived before, and that I was here again. There was a lot of familiar things to me. And when I met this young man, he was just like that, if not even more, if his soul was not even older than mine. And I today, to my knowledge, as of today, I believe that he was a placeholder for my organic twin. He played a very important role in my twin flame journey at the time when I had no idea what twin flames were before I met my twin. But there was um, a lot of things that led to the discovery. My first awakening was at that time in 1993. This young boy was telling me about, although we were European, he was telling me things from related to me from my past life in India, and my twin flame is from Indian subcontinent. And he introduced me to Indian culture, this young boy from Europe, who had nothing to do with Indian culture. And he amazed me by many other things that a 15-year old would normally not know. Things that I had no one else to talk about with. He was open and ready to share with me, and we sort of disconnected from the rest of our group, from our friends, became very close in a very short period of time, spiritually and intellectually close. And then it's just things progressed slowly, and eventually they led to our first kiss. And then we started sort of going out like a boyfriend and girlfriend, which was not really much of going out because it was war and was very dangerous. But anyways, long story short, we had to separate just at the end of that same year. I went to another country, and he was left behind. But before he was left behind, he broke up with me. And I always believe part of the reason we broke up was he was afraid that he was going to lose me anyways, because he was going to lose me anyways. I was underage. I couldn't marry him. I had to leave the country with my mother for our safety. And we saw each other again in 1997, but we never completely reconnected again. I was too afraid to talk to him again. And I loved him all this time. And I loved him many years after that. I loved him for a longer time than actually that I'm currently on my twin flame journey, which is pretty long time too. But then I met my karmic in 1997, and I was married by 2004. This time I was with my karmic partner, and then I was divorced in 2009. I met my organic twin in 2011, but in the meantime, in 2006, I had a near-death experience, and I felt that I was reborn. I was reborn once again, even though the actual death did not occur. It's not like I died and I was reincarnated, born again, but I felt it was a near-death experience. I was ill since 2005, and then that happened in 2006, and my whole life was sort of rewind. Everything went back. People who know me from before 2006 don't recognize me anymore. They say I look different. My whole physical appearance has changed. I appear to be younger than my actual age, and I kind of look more like my organic twin than the way I looked before. I used to be blonde. Not that my hair color changed. I changed that. I colored my hair. But there's other things regarding my physical appearance that have completely changed that they're not possible to explain, but I always connected to that experience that I had in 2006. And there's not enough time to go into that right now. I will describe that sometimes to you, what happened exactly in 2006, but it was near that experience. And I felt the day after, I felt my new life was beginning. That's when I became, after that, I became Muslim. I became very spiritual as well. And not that I wasn't spiritual before, but I wasn't that much religious actually. And I wasn't really praying on schedule or on time or anything like that because I wasn't even raised that way. So, anyways, I'm meeting my twin in 2011. So that's been quite a long time ago. At that time, he was super young, and very important calendar date to give you right now, you an actual idea that twin flames are real and that our journey is related to divine timing is this. Um, on April 18th, 1993, I met my first love, my first boyfriend, my twin flames placeholder. 1993. And then exactly 18 years later, on April 18th, 2011, I met my actual twin flame. And to make things more interesting, I'm exactly 11 years older than my twin. So at the time when I met my first love, my twin flame was just a very, very young boy and would be impossible for me to know him. He at that time lived in Indian subcontinent. I lived in Europe. So this is very important to know that there's always, most of the time, huge age gap between twin flames or something else that separates you with the huge paradigm. So that would have been a problem back in 1993. Then I was reborn again in 2006. I came to United States in the meantime, and I disconnected from my first love. He got married. He has two little girls, and I I had well, I couldn't stop wondering about us until like few days before I met my actual twin. I finally had something just happened overnight. One night I had a dream and I woke up and all the pain and everything regarding that boy was gone. Everything was gone and I finally was free. I felt free. And then I met my organic twin and I started learning about twin flames and what it meant. And of course, I had fond memories of my first love. I still remember person and all the events. And this is interesting that now, after all this time, I was awakened by this pain and what I thought was very strange, and I knew it had to do something with purging, but I didn't know what. So I Googled him to see why would I be awakened with such pain. What is it? I was prompted to go find out what's going on with this person right now, and my discovery was so shocking that I almost stopped breathing. I just couldn't breathe. Here's what happened. Now, this may not sound so strange. He he became a publisher. He became a publisher. This is what I found out. He became a publisher, and he just had the book come out. in 2017, at the end of 2017, his book came out, and there's nothing strange about that. It doesn't sound strange to you guys, right? He became a publisher. He just had his book. He is an author of the book. It just came out in Europe in our native language, and that wouldn't be surprising. What is surprising though is, first of all, he was at time when I was dating him, he was a young, talented musician. He was extremely talented young musician. Then he stopped playing, which was very disappointing to everyone who ever met him, because he was amazing talent. And he just turned into he just finished only 2 years of college and became an accountant, just a boring accountant, got married, had two kids. And and I heard occasionally from his sister, um, and I found out that their mother had died in the meantime. I was very close to their mother, and anyways, so he became accountant with 2 years of college. So how did he become a publisher? And what happened was this: he wrote a book about medieval kingdom of our original country, of our birthplace. And this book he started writing in 2012, and he has done such an extensive research on the topic. And finally, when the book came out, the publishing company from the neighboring country, um, actually gave him a position of the director of the publisher of the new branch they opened in our country for the first time. And so, yeah, he is the director of the publishing company in one of the European countries. His book is so expensive that it's just unbelievable. It's in our value, it's like 9,000 whatever, in the monetary um, um, units. And if converted to United States dollars, to make it easier to understand, it's about $1,500 per book. It's an amazing work of historic um, artifacts and history of the medieval kings of our country. And here is the most shocking part. In 2011, I met my twin flame, and then 2012, from 2012 until 2016, I didn't almost sleep any single night. I've spent every single night for 4 years researching medieval kingdom of my country. I spent every single night on computer researching the old medieval documents and monuments and graves, and everything that was leading me to do that was within me. It was inside of me. It was stronger than me, that I needed to find out this, to dig deep in the history. And I felt that I knew things, I knew facts that um, needed to be resurfaced, like rediscovered again. Things that I knew, somehow I knew these things, and I just wanted to find the truth behind what I already knew. And I have done the research, I put material together and wrote a manuscript. And then one day I just said, oh, finally, my research is done. This is the material for the book. Now I'm going to put it in the drawer. And I did, thinking, how in the world am I going to find a publisher for this book who's going to be interested in this in United States, when it's more appropriate for the audiences in Europe. So I was thinking maybe perhaps someday, one day, I'm gonna travel back to my old country, and if I find a good publishing house, I will present it to them. And just so I completely, not completely forgot about it, but just when you put things in drawer and just leave it for later, and I focused more on other things in my life here in the United States and on my twin flame journey, and started making these videos in the meantime and everything. And who would have known that my my first love, my first twin flame placeholder, the one who started the experience, had done exactly the same thing at the same time. This just proves the point that we did have a real connection, and that the spiritual connection and telepathic connection has never really stopped. That we worked on the exact same topic at exact same time period. So we worked simultaneously at this on the same topic, the same book, as if we were together doing this, but had no idea about each other's doings at the same time. Although I felt such urge to do it, and I was unstoppable. And then suddenly one day when I put it together, I was relieved and I put it away. And that was exactly like about the time when I kind of start forgetting about it and relaxed into other things in my life and other, interests, is when he actually printed the book and then eventually published it and became a publisher, which is something that I was thinking like, if I wish I knew someone who was a publisher, someone who would understand, and take me into consideration and read my manuscript and what it was about. But I was also afraid that, not being a historian and not having this educational background, how would this be accepted? And he did it. My first love, he did it. And this at first came as such a shock. And it's not that I was jealous, I was just so shocked that I couldn't believe what I just found out. And I was awakened, and I was prompted to do that. So what I discovered is that we do have this connection with as same connection with our twin flame and people that represent important figures on our twin flame journey. We do have telepathic connection, and your twin does know that that what you're going through is important part of the journey, and they are going through the same thing at the same time. Maybe you don't know about it, but they do, and just remember that everything happens for a reason. And don't think that the divine doesn't know what's going on, or that you're left alone on this journey. If once I was told, and I still believe, that if you're taking this far on your journey, God wouldn't lead you this far just to leave you, to drop you, and leave you alone and without final victory. So just hang in there and stay strong, because everything is known by the owner of the universe. Everything, every single thing that we do, we're not alone, and we are all connected, and there is divine timing for everything. So just your twin flame reunion is just behind the corner. Just wait a little bit longer, but don't spend time in just waiting, but do something what you love to do, and build your strength, and just do the final things that you need to do to be prepared. I want to dedicate one of the new videos to our preparation, and how well are we really prepared? Are we ready for our twin? Because my twin flame has just drove on the alley in the back of my house just last night while I was washing my car. It was almost midnight, and I was so scared, because believe it or not, awaiting the reunion and everything, we think we are ready, because we miss our other half so much. We miss our twins so much. Please try to understand that I know what you're going through and how you feel, but uh are we ready? We want to talk about that in the next video. How ready are we really when your twin is far from you and still not ready for you? We think, oh my God, why is he not coming yet, or she? And then if they're at your doorstep, are they really welcome already? I mean, are you really ready, or there's few more things you need to purge? Because uh things has to be completely, you have to be, there's no way to get on twin flame reunion with any luggage, emotional luggage. I like to call it luggage, I don't like to call it baggage. It's emotional luggage from the past, because it's just lugging along with you, and you think it's gone, and you think you've forgotten people and things, but it's still inside of you. Trust me, until you're ready, your twin is not going to come, because they would never do such a thing to you. They would never come into reunion until both of you are completely purged. And because purging means to be purified, purging means to be pure, pure of everything that has happened in the past life, in the past experiences. And I truly believe that these two books, the one that is published and the one that I wrote that is not published yet, needed to be written, because it was related to the past lives of me and that person that I met before my twin flame, who played an important role in my life in my early uh, age, and coming out of age life. So everything happens for the reason. People we meet for the reason. Just be ready to prepare yourself to be ready for your twin when they finally come. You really gotta be ready, like, not just think that you're ready, but really be ready. Like, cause I thought I was, but there's few more things, and now I'm just letting divine, like, completely. I surrender right now to let me be led to what, if there's anything else left, because I can't say, oh, everything is purged, everything is done, I am ready, because my twin just drove by my house, and I was like, I almost hid behind my car. He drove quite fast, and just probably checking on me if I was okay, because I posted some weird things on my social media a couple of weeks ago regarding the manifested twin. So maybe he was afraid something happened to me. And yeah, he drove by just to check up, and I freaked out. I just almost hid behind my car. How is it possible after all this time and waiting that I would still be afraid? So we'll talk about that next time. I love you guys. Thanks for watching. Thanks for listening. Take the tips, take the notes, compare the notes, and leave the comments. Subscribe and like, and share. You can watch video in 2 parts or 3 parts, whatever is good for your own convenience. Just take it in slowly, and God bless you. I love you so much. I love you all, really, really, I do. Email me at my channel. Let's talk. Everything is free. My heart is free for you, and I'll be here soon, probably next week. Stay tuned. Assalamu alaikum. Peace be upon you, and for all of you who do fast, Mubarak Ramadan again.